Hello everyone, welcome back to Durbanites FPL Game Week 12 preview. So let's get started. Fulham United. So United were lucky to get the result this week. Looking ahead, Fulham have some tough weeks ahead aside from the opposition. Diop is still highly doubtful and Muniz is out for this week. Trouble at both ends, so I would give them a miss. It doesn't get much better at Manchester United either. You never know where the result may go. Fernandez is out and out the best option if you need one, but at 8.3 there are better options. Let's move ahead to Brentford West Ham. Brentford have had good back-to-back weeks, but looking at the next 2 weeks, I would be very cautious, even with Mbeumo and Jensen who lead the scoring. West Ham took the L this week, but they have almost zero injuries and a mouth-watering 3 weeks ahead. Areola, Bowen, Ward-Prowse and Kudus may be good, affordable targets. So Burnley, Crystal Palace, Burnley are just not clicking this season. Welcome to the Premier League, gents. With Arsenal coming up, no recommendations here except to avoid. Palace have some winnable games ahead. Johnston did well between the sticks last week, and Joachim Anderson is still a great value for money pick in the back. With Olise and Eze back and Ayew hitting form, these are good, cheap picks. So driven by good performances by Calvert-Lewin, Everton are getting some points on the board. Maybe worth a look if you're saving cash to spend elsewhere. Ducouré is doubtful for this week. Brighton have some good weeks coming up, but a lot of injuries to consider. Estupin and Dunk, March, Ciso and Welbeck are all out. But Evan Ferguson just signed a new contract and they are coming off their first win in Europe. So look to Mitoma, Groves and Ferguson for possible points. When City scores 6 and Alvarez and Haaland share 3 points between them, it's been a crazy week. Stones is back out injured, but Haaland played and scored midweek. A challenging 3 weeks ahead on paper, but the point scorers are there, but not sure even if Duco can make things happen in the next 3 weeks. Things are not going to get better for Bournemouth, so no recommendations for this week. Sheffield United get their first win completely against form. Still no recommendations, but let's see what they do against Brighton before 2 fairly good weeks ahead. Wolves have a tough few weeks ahead with Neto still out in some competition. 50-50 on Spurs though, as they have injury woes of their own. Newcastle coming away with a great win before meeting Bournemouth this week. Expect a win and goals from midfield. Some injury issues as European games take their toll. Botman and Berner out in midfield. Guimaraes, Barnes, Anderson and Tonali are missing. And Isak is out with Callum Wilson doubtful. They should still be strong enough, but look at Gordon as the best bet for scoring. Arsenal claim they were unlucky to lose, but a win in Europe may set them up for a good comeback against struggling Burnley. Odegaard and Saka may be arrested, and Nketiah and Gabi Jesus are both on the injury list. Time to bank on Gabriel Martinelli maybe, or Lisandro Trossard making a name for themselves. Forest getting a win against the odds with some new scorers. Ilanga and Awuni are fit again, but I would avoid in these coming weeks. Villa took a massive hit losing out on a chance to make the top 4, but with Fulham this week, you have to look at Diaby and Watkins for points. Luton did almost the impossible to hold Liverpool and earn a point. Ex-Manchester United player Tahith Chong coming up with a goal, but no recommendations even against a terrible Manchester United team. Luis Diaz overcoming some personal issues to score, but it's a tough result, and now with Brentford and City ahead, no recommendations here except the Pharaoh. What an insane game this was. Spurs went in with a chance to remain the only unbeaten team in the league and claim top spot. 2 red cards later, they went from a 1-1 draw to a 4-1 loss at home to Chelsea. They have a massive issue this week with injuries and suspension. Romero, Udogi, Van der Ven are all out at the back. Teams Madison and Richarlison are out injured. A trip to Wolves is already tricky, but I still think they have enough in the tank to get the win. You can look at Son, Vicario, Pedro Porro and Kulusevski for points. Chelsea are 3 wins out of 5, but City and Newcastle ahead, it's going to be tricky. I would not recommend anyone here. They're not hitting the consistent form for that call. So looking at the fixture rating ahead, we look at Arsenal, Aston Villa, Brighton, Crystal Palace, really good games ahead on paper, although anything could happen. West Ham as well, 3 really good games for them to score points on. Everton looks good on paper, but maybe think about that. Looking at being cautious with some of the legendary scorers here: Liverpool, Manchester City, Tottenham, Chelsea. You can see the games they're playing each other a lot in the next 3 weeks. So I would definitely look to scale down on players from those teams unless you have absolute faith in them. Bournemouth and Brentford also wants to avoid, I think. So that's it for this Game Week 12 preview, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, drop a comment if you want to see something new. But until the next time, so much for now.